Terry O'Neill, 6th Dan Shotokan and a member of the KUGB Technical Committee. Many times KUGB kata and kumite champion. Competed with the British team for 17 years. He's known as one of the most skillful and inventive fighters this country has ever produced. Publishing editor of Fighting Arts International, karate teacher, actor and fight choreographer. Terry O'Neill.
Well, the first martial arts I did, I started at the YMCA Judo Club in Liverpool, started when I was 13. I'd had an interest in things physical prior to that. I'd done judo from 13 to, I guess, 14 and a half. And then I heard this, I mean, karate was an unknown thing then. There was 1 or 2 books out, E.J. Harrison's Manual of Karate, and one other book, Nishiyama and Brown's. There was probably a couple of others, but they were very few and far between in comparison to the, like, thousands of titles that's out now. And I'd heard about karate, and in fact I wrote to a gentleman called Pat Butler, who's recently died, a great judo stalwart. Wrote to him and said I wanted to join karate club and how could I go about it. And his letter to me, which I still have somewhere, was advising me, he said, listen, you know, karate is going to damage your hands very badly. It's an art to kill people, and you don't want to be doing that. Well, my mother saw it. Which didn't please her at all, you know. She always thought I was a little crazy about it because of the heroes that I had at that time. Anyway, I did persevere, and I did find that there was a karate club in Liverpool. I think it was the 3rd karate club, 2nd or 3rd karate club had opened in the country. First one was down in London. And it was part of an association then called the British Karate Federation. And they were just a small group of people training together. The teacher, the resident teacher was a green belt, Andy Sherry, who to this day remains my senior in karate. And when I went up there, I was allowed to watch, but they told me, listen.
Right, Frank, can we start at the beginning of your career, going back to why and when you started karate?
The main influence in my martial arts career is my father. Since a very early age, as early as I can remember, he's always encouraged myself and my brother to be interested in physical culture, the martial arts, and in particular something like jiu-jitsu or karate. I remember when I was very young, probably about 9 or 10, he used to show me some books and magazines. I was always interested in actually wanting to participate and want to join some kind of club. But in those days there wasn't so many clubs around, or we weren't aware of that many karate clubs. And when we had the opportunity, or if we found out about any clubs, we'd go and visit them with the possibility of either just watching or starting. But usually I was far too young. They didn't have children's classes. Adults, it was okay, but there was no children at all training as I can remember. In fact, when we went along to the Red Triangle Karate Club, I think it was about 1970, 1971, my brother was allowed to start and I wasn't, and I was quite angry about that at that time. The idea was for both of us to go along and start training. He was allowed to join. I was told to go downstairs and start in the judo, which, although I enjoyed it, it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to do karate, the same as my big brother. So from about 1971, 72, up till when I was allowed to join, which was about 1973, I actually was watching him training all the time. In fact, I think I made a bit of a nuisance of myself. I used to go along and sit at the side and watch nearly every class until eventually I was allowed to start training.
And when you got home at night, you picked his brains a little bit.
Oh yeah, and I was so enthusiastic about it that I tried to take in everything as the class was going on. Obviously you can't, I know now you can't do that, but as you really know that, so you're sitting there, you're enthusiastic, and watching them kicking and punching and doing all the kumite, and I'd go home.